Hey, namaste everyone. Ram here, your data hacker. I'm back for part 3 of healthy short-term solutions for stress relief. This channel is unlike anything. If you really are serious about becoming more stress and disease resistant and eventually become stress and disease free, I can teach you how. I've done it. I teach it to people. I do events. So if you're interested and you like what you see, please give the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, mash that notification bell so you can know when we upload more content. This channel will be migrating to a private mastermind where you will not be able to access content for free. I'm giving it all away for free. A lot of things that people pay thousands of dollars for to have, both privately and in group coaching. So you can get it now for free. So take advantage. Okay, in the previous 2 parts, I went through parts 1 through 5. You see, it starts here at 6, and then in part 2. I illustrated 2 techniques that you can use to reduce stress and to control anxiety, to really bring anxiety down. So you want to check those out in part 2. So today I want to go through parts 6 through 10, the next 5 in this series. And there's probably going to be maybe a couple more parts. I will be doing, my next part will be on transformational vocabulary. I'll get into that shortly, what that means, and why I'm going to be doing a video on that. On my social media channels, I did some postings on transformational vocabulary. I'm going to do a video version of that, so you want to stay tuned for that if you're interested. All right, so the first tip, in the previous video, I talked a little about internal stuff, but I'm going to go into a little more detail because often people blame the exterior for the stress. They blame a stressor, whether it's a job or an individual, and what I'm here to tell you is that nothing out there causes stress. It's really you that creates it. It's really you that's taking the wrong perspective and the wrong approach, and you're being reactive rather than creative. You're being passive rather than active. And so I'm going to give you some tips related to that are extremely powerful if you start to apply them in your own life. Okay, so the first thing is notice your mental attitude to stress. What type of vocabulary are you using when it comes to stress? Are you already taking the victim approach? Is it already a difficult situation that you don't want to encounter? Are you breaking down mentally? Are you thinking of your job in a certain way where the job has control over you, or your boss, or your relationship, or whatever it may be that's causing you stress? Even a disease, even a physical disability. None of those things should hold you back. You are exactly where you need to be. You are going through experiences that are exactly what you need. Sometimes we stay in experiences longer than we should. And so we also need to evaluate internally, am I staying in a relationship that's causing me stress, anxiety, distress? Do I need to do something about that? Do I need to make change? And that's why we cannot be passive, we must be active. We cannot be reactive as well to life. Continue to stay in a situation, just react. That's how, when I did a previous video on depression, people end up depressed in large part because they've lost the sense of meaning. They are not where they're supposed to be in life. They're not doing what they're supposed to. They're not in a relationship that they should be. They're not nurturing themselves. They feel lonely and lost and in despair. And I can understand that. I struggled with that early on when I wasn't doing what I was supposed to. I felt depressed. I was struggling. I wasn't in my right environment, the right climate, around the right people. So oftentimes we end up over here when we should be over here. We need to do a lot of internal evaluation. This is why practices like meditation, introspection, maybe even journaling, writing stuff down, taking time every day to think about my day. What could I have done better? What could I change in terms of my relationship with others and my relationship with myself? And in Voyage of Human to God, I go into a lot of details about that. I go into the limbs of yoga and describe how those limbs do a lot of that. The first 2 limbs are about my relationship with myself and the world. And that's extremely important when it comes to mental health. So again, what kind of thoughts am I having? It's very important to note, am I having limiting self-talk? Are my conversations already restricting my role in a situation or in a relationship? My response? Am I limiting my ability to respond to something or to act on it? Is it limiting my responsibility in that? Am I deflecting responsibility away towards another person, towards a job? All those things really, really matter. We have to start to take ownership again. Reactivity, move away from reaction towards creativity. So I did a video a while back. You want to check it out. I think it's called Mindset versus Environment. Environment rules every time. People emphasize a lot about mindset. Yeah, that's important at the beginning, and it's always good to be positive and think a certain way. But it's not really as important as actively creating the environment that's going to support the right mindset. So if I'm not creative, I'm being passive rather than active, then I'm just going to remain stuck in my own situation. And if I don't see how I'm holding myself back mentally, what is my thought pattern towards the situations that I call stressful? That's my stressor. That's stressful. Why are they stressors? You will see if you dig down deep. Oftentimes something is a stressor because I'm making it a stressor. I'm choosing to live like a zebra in the savannah, thinking that there's a cheetah or a lion right about to get it at all times. Animals do not do that. Stress is a beautiful thing. It is a powerful phenomenon that in the Art of Stress-Free Living, you can get a copy below. In the Art of Stress-Free Living, I explain how it can be your friend rather than your foe. And in a previous video that I did in this channel, I talked about how you can turn stress into flow. It is all under your control to turn that switch into your favor. I can be in beta brainwave. I'm going to be doing a video on brainwave activity, how to control them soon. How does that relate to stress, anxiety, other things, and meditation. I can be in beta activity, very high activity, agitation, stress, anxiety. Or I can have super activity, gamma, which is associated with these peak states of flow. There's a way you can turn that switch to control it, to go from stress into flow, or to go from stress to relaxation, to creativity, to deep introspection and freedom and spirituality and power and all this great stuff that everybody wants. Everybody feels incomplete because they don't have the things that give them the sense of completeness. They are already within you. You just need to start to realize them and manifest them. All right, so another thing is to keep in mind is extremes, like using words like never, always. And I'm gonna be expanding on how to use transformational vocabulary to overcome some of this limiting vocabulary, some of these extremes. Things like, for example, this makes me stressed out, or this makes me mad, or this makes me sad. You should not be saying, oh, this will never happen. I can never do this. Oh, every time that blah, blah, blah happens, I feel this way. Oh, he always this and that. That type of conversation, he or she makes me, nothing, let me tell you something right now, nothing makes you anything. You make yourself whichever way. I see it all the time. See somebody who's feeling sad and depressed, all of a sudden their loved one, the love of their life comes in, and all of a sudden they perk up, they feel happy, all of a sudden they're acting so energetic, and before they were gloom and doom. What changed? Does the energy, the power, the happiness reside in that person that just came in? Or in the $1 million that I want? Or in the big house that I want? Or in the job that I'm dying to have but I don't have? No, it doesn't reside in any of those things. It resides right here within me. I am choosing to give the control to something out there. And if I don't have that, then I don't have the control. So that sense of stability comes with control, and it's not OCD control. It's not that I have to try to control everything, control my thoughts, control my body, control my that, try to control everything around my life, control the people around me. No, it's an inner sense of locus of control where I'm not gifting my stability, my happiness, the most precious things about me out there. I've never let a job, a situation, anything dictate how I live. You come first, and that's not a selfish thing. If you come first, you're gonna give yourself the best thing for you. You're gonna put yourself in a position of power so that then you can offer that beauty, that power, that love, that passion to other people, rather than continue to beat yourself down and then not have the real you present for others to enjoy. And that's what I go into a lot of detail in the Art of Stress-Free Living, how to reclaim that real self so that others, your relationships can grow, whether it's in business or in life, in your relationships, whatever it may be. All right, so be very mindful of this, limiting self-talk, extremes, and conversations where you're deflecting the blame or the responsibility away from you. Man, it's going crazy today with airplanes in this area. And so where is the pressure or the stress coming from? If you really ask yourself that question, you're going to realize that it actually comes from you. It comes from within you. And if you start to change your perspective, your reactions, and take a more active role, be more willing to change, to open the door for possibility of change that you yourself can create it. And if you don't know how, get help. Get coaching from me or somebody else. Somebody who's done it, who's there, who's a role model. I believe 100% in that. I know that to be true. Whatever you teach, you must be a role model of. When I say I teach how to be stress and disease free, it's because I live it. I know it's possible. I've seen it in others. You can be that sage or a master in life and do that yourself. And it's not that difficult. And in my books and in my programs, I teach you how to do it. I don't want somebody dependent on me for the rest of their lives. I want somebody to take the reins and take off. And if I can see people take the reins and take off, that'd be the greatest gift and joy. Better than all the money they could give me, anything like that. For me to see somebody transformed, and now they don't need to go to a doctor because they're their own doctor. They don't need to go to a psychologist because they're their own psychologist. They live free. They're a free spirit, able to enjoy life to its fullest. That's a beautiful thing. All right, so note that. Start working, and I do this a lot with clients, how to build that willingness, that openness, that willpower to be able to enhance your energy and your ability to cause change in your life. To start to dig deep and do some of that inner work to realize that it's you. It's all within you already. And you're just putting up all these excuses, all these barriers for no reason. Sometimes for legitimate reasons, a lot of trauma, a lot of scars, a lot of crap in the past. We put up a different face, a different mask, a different persona, and we hide, we protect ourselves. Drop the barriers, be raw, be real, come out. And if you need help, get help. Whether sometimes you need help from a psychologist, sometimes you need help from medicine. I'm not opposed to Western medicine. That's one of the beautiful things that I've learned, is how to take the East and the West and merge them, because I've experienced both. Having a PhD in neuroscience has allowed me to take the power of science, the power of the modern world, and merge it with the wisdom of the Vedas and the wisdom of Buddhism and the wisdom of Taoism and whatever it may be. Take East and West and marry it. Take the wisdom of many religions, if not all of them. They all have something to share and offer. Why are we closing doors? Let's unite through love. Let's unite through common ground, through we have a lot of things in common to share. All these different cultures, and all we're doing is just creating war and separation and fighting. But that's another topic for another point. All right, so think of what would work best for the situation, the person that is causing stress or worry. Take time to think about your situation and what you can do to change it. Don't keep going and complaining and reacting and not doing anything about it. When I learned a really valuable rule about passive versus active, and it comes with disease, and I'm going to be sharing this in the Inner Hacker Secrets, so you get a little preview here. In the Hacker Secrets book that I'm starting next week is relates to disease. So whenever way back when I started to feel disease come on, I would not be like, oh, I'm getting sick, and I would accept disease passively. I wouldn't also just expect that I'm going to think positively, oh no, I'm not getting sick, I'm not getting sick, and I won't get sick. It doesn't work like that as well. But there are a number of techniques that I'm going to teach, that I teach in that book and I teach in my programs, that you can do to prevent disease altogether, or to bypass the actual disease phase, the phase where you feel horrible, you're bedridden, you're feeling with fever, sweats, etc. You can bypass that phase. You can shorten the amount of time until eventually you surpass that and you are exempt from disease. And you optimize your body in a way that viruses, bacteria, maybe can't really settle. You don't do things to promote chronic illness, inflammation, stress, the two biggest silent killers of our generation. You live in a way that is in harmony. So I'm taking an active role in my own care, and therefore I don't have to worry about the things that some people have to worry about. So that's very important, how to do that. I was in a computer once and I got a virus and I was like freaking out. Oh crap, my computer, I don't know what to do. So I had a cousin who's really good at computers, and I called him and he got all excited about the virus. And it really taught me a really powerful lesson just with computers, that look at the approach that he was taking. Again, active, creative. He wasn't being reactive. He wasn't being passive. He wasn't freaking out. He wasn't stressed out. He said, okay, let's do this, let's do this, let's do that. What did he have that I didn't have? Some knowledge. So that's why getting coaching, getting help, reading, taking time to think about your day, about your life, of introspecting, meditating, going deeper about yourself is important. Otherwise, I don't have the tools to be creative. Another thing is taking this more childlike approach. It's very important. I talk about this in neuroscientist in my events. You've lost your inner child, reclaim that inner child, and take a more creative approach. Take things as a challenge that you can conquer, an opportunity for growth, rather than something that I'm going to victimize myself, I'm going to break down, it's chaos, I can't deal with it. No. Take it as a challenge. You're here on this earth for a reason. Your pain and suffering is real. Don't minimize it, don't ignore it. Take your dark aspects and start to go deep and look at them. Get help if you need to, and start to work with yourself so that you can empower yourself and get better. Don't view it as, I can deal with this. My life is miserable, I can take it. You're here for a reason. You're here to grow, you're here to learn, you're here to discover where you come from, where you're going, and why are you here. That's what I teach. I teach people how to discover these things and how to become a master of life. Firstly, by overcoming some of the obstacles like stress and disease that are two of the main obstacles in our lives. And so you're able to do this, but it depends on how playful you are with life. Enjoy those hardships, because to be honest, if you think about it, the good moments really don't leave that room for growth and expansion of consciousness. The moments where you grow more are the difficult ones, the ones that you have to grind through, the ones you have to work through. Appreciate those moments. They are very valuable. So often it's a matter of working on your perspective. There are other options, but sometimes you become too narrow and you don't listen to other options. You're like a racehorse, and the options are there, but I already have my preconceptions, my prejudices. I think it's this way. I'm already struggling. I'm already grinding. I don't want to think about it. I don't have time, you may say. And never use time as an excuse. You have just as much time as the healthiest, happiest, most successful people on the planet. You're just not using your time wisely. So get help on how to integrate it. And so I decided to become a master about how to integrate this into my life, so I could become extremely productive, extremely creative, keep my energy high, my sex drive, everything high, and just be at my peak, but yet not be stressed. Not put my body at risk. Keep my body's my temple. I need to take care of it. I need to keep my mind clear. I need to keep my spirit free so it can soar and I can go deeper and I can experience the real me, which is beyond anything that you're experiencing right now. You've experienced your whole life. Expand that thinking. When you expand your thinking, magical things will happen physiologically. When you shift away from who you currently think you are, from your habits, from your pre-programming that's already built into your nervous system, into your hormones, into your physiology, and you start shifting your consciousness, it will, I promise you, start shifting you internally and changing you from within. Changing your gene expression, your hormones, your brain activity, etc., your health, your psychology, your habits, your decisions, what you're attracting to your life, whether it's people that you see or things that you don't even see. I talk about in the art social some hidden dimensions, some hidden forces that you're not aware of. What I'm attracting changes, and so everything is going to change, but you have to change and expand your thinking and shift your perspective. remember something important: motion creates emotion and change. If I'm stagnant, then, and I'm not changing my state of thinking, and I'm not just changing my state of thinking, but changing my emotions, my approach. Am I taking a very negative approach, a negative emotional approach, or a positive emotional approach? These things matter. And so as I move, sometimes what happens is that we become so fixated on a certain way of doing things. It's like a scar. They call in yoga some scars, like a psychic scar. It's actually a tangible formation in my consciousness. It's really my subconscious mind. I'm not aware of it. These take actually tangible form. They become stagnant masses that I've actually, when I work with patients in deep psychic healings and psychic surgeries that I've learned to do across many lifetimes, and I've continued to do it in this lifetime, I remove these masses from people. But you can do it yourself by changing yourself from within. So I work with people not just by me doing it to give them a little boost, but also for them to do it themselves, for them to start to shake loose and agitate and move that stagnation, that confusion, that inertia, that lethargy is called tamas. And you use the opposite, which is rajas. You don't want either extreme, tamas or rajas, but sometimes if you have a lot of tamas, you want rajas to agitate, to break up, to bring you into sattvas, into harmony, to bliss, into balance. And so if you are stuck in old patterns, old ways of thinking, you do the things, everything the same way every time, nothing is ever going to change for you. So try something new every day. Make life a bit more fun. Be like a child. Make things playful. Fit into your life playful things, things that you enjoy. If you cannot change your job, your scenario, your situation, then fit into your time things that you actually enjoy, that bring you joy, bring you peace, bring you comfort, that shift your thinking away from the things you don't like towards things that actually you do like, that bring you that balance and the harmony that you so deserve. And then we talked about this point, the last one, and on point 11, I mentioned work on your perception and your reaction to stress. It's not really, remember, it's not about over controlling, about perfection. It's about striving for excellence. And excellence occurs by taking those necessary steps, by getting informed, by changing my perspective, by working on myself, by taking time to think about my life and my situation, and slowly building a plan and then acting on that plan to get results, to change my beliefs, to build my potential. Potential increases, I take more action, I get more results. This is a kind of Tony Robbins philosophy. And then those results change my belief, which increases my potential, and so on and so forth. I did a video on that when I was working with Tony Robbins a few months ago. I did a video on this same topic and how you can actually be stress and disease free, and how that cycle of limiting beliefs and of your perception and of your reactions and of you striving for the wrong things is keeping you trapped. Okay? So in the next video, I'm going to be going into details about transformational vocabulary, 4 tips on how to do that are very powerful if you put them into action. And then after that, I'll continue with probably part 5. So on this series. Then after that, what's coming up is going to be some special extra videos that I have lined up, including one on how you can change your brain activity and how this impacts you in many ways. And you'll really want to stay tuned for that one. It's going to be amazing. Okay, take care. God bless. I send you lots of love where you may be. Take care. Namaste.